Jai Masters. Reality is a great teacher. You're sitting on a planet, spinning around the middle of empty outer space. You're lucky in your generation, our generation, where we have photos, lots of them, from the space station, from the planet probes and so on, that show the planet, our planet, with the black background all around it. You just have this tiny little ball spinning in empty space. It's a nice little ball. It has fishes, giraffes, elephants, armadillos, lots of things. The other little balls in our neighborhood don't have anything. Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, nothing, literally nothing, just dirt, just geology. But not on your little planet. There's all these interesting things going on all the time. So it doesn't seem like it would be so difficult to land on the planet and just be blown away by all the different things there are to see. That's one reality. The other is, you're not going to stay. That's just the truth. Sorry if you don't like talking about it, but you're not going to stay very long on this planet. You're going to leave. Where you'll go, none of your business yet. You'll find out. But the net result is, there's this period of time where you're on the planet. The fact that it is just a tiny little ball spinning in the middle of nowheres, and the fact that you're not going to stay, should be very liberating. They should speak to you, these truths. These absolute truths should speak to you. You know what they should say is, are you having fun yet? That's what they should say. You don't have very much time here. Period. That's just the way it is. You don't have very much time here. And the time you have here is really fascinating. There's rain, there's snow, there's wind, hurricanes. There's all kinds of things go on all the time. There's not a single day that any of you have had that is the same as the day you had at any other time ever before. So it's a very interesting place to be. It's a very interesting planet to spend a little time. It's just a little time. Why would you want to come down here and get all uptight and be scared all the time and be nervous and self-conscious and embarrassed and guilty and everything? Why would you want to do that with your time? Be so pressured and uptight and tense that you can't enjoy your experience. That is how almost every single human being on this planet lives. Why? It doesn't even make sense. Why don't you just have fun? You're born, you hang out for a while, and you die. What's wrong with that? It's the way it is. Every single thing that ever lived died. There's not a single thing that ever lived, any kind of organism ever, that didn't die. The question is not whether you're going to die. You're going to die. The question is not whether you're on this little planet, spinning in the middle of absolute black, dark, empty space. I like to paint that picture for you. You are spinning around a star, one star, 93 million miles away. That star is so hot that it burns you when you go outside. That's pretty far out. That's pretty weird, okay? The heat isn't supposed to be something you complain about. It's something that's supposed to remind you that you're spinning around a star and the star is really hot. It's supposed to remind you, what are you doing? You know, during the day, it looks like you're just like in this envelope. At night, the universe plays a trick on you. It says, you are so stupid that even if I remove the sky and let you see millions, there are hundreds of billions or trillions, but you only see whatever, like I forget, 10,000 stars you see or something with your naked eye. But the net result is there's a lot of stars out there. In your galaxy, there's 300 billion of them. The universe takes away the veil. You're sitting on this little planet, knowing that you're sitting on a little planet, spinning around one of those stars, and you are so tiny, and yet you just say, oh, it's romantic. I hope he loves me. Will he take me out tonight? He took her out under the stars. He didn't take me. What? Wow. What a good way to spend your life here. Just being neurotic. So you have this constant reminder that you are sitting on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowheres. You're not going to stay. What's the problem? Why are you not having fun? You should have fun every single moment of every single day of your life. It's exciting. It's just neat. You get to do different things, have different experiences, meet different people. All kinds of stuff goes on. It is not hard to understand why you're not having fun. Yet very few people understand. If I ask you why you're not having fun, you say, I'm not married yet. Why you're not having fun? I don't have money. Why you're not having fun? I haven't seen Europe. I want to see everything. I haven't seen it yet. You're sitting there blaming on the fact that you're not having fun, on the fact that certain things didn't happen in your environment. What you're going to find out is that's why you're not having fun. There's a difference in how I said that. You say you're not having fun because you didn't get married. I say you're not having fun because you said you didn't get married. That's why you're not having fun. In other words, a universe is unfolding around you. You did not make it. It's been here for a very long time. It's unfolding all over the place. And you have decided in your head what you want to happen in order for you to have fun, in order for you to have a good time, in order for you to feel that you enjoy your life. You just made up in your head, I'm going to drop down on the planet Earth and I want to see 3 giraffes laying next to an elephant. And I would like a whale to be there too. But not die. I don't want the whales to die because they're lying next to the elephant, because the elephant can't be in the water. At least the giraffes can't, right? And, well, go on, make it up. And see how well you do. You're going to be miserable. Because it's not going to be that way. I purposely picked something far out. As far as I'm concerned, everything you picked is just as far out. I want him to like me. I want to get the raise. Whatever you're doing, to me, it's exactly the same as I want 2 elephants, a giraffe, and a whale. You're just making things up in your head. And then you're sitting there saying, I will only be okay if those things happen. And you didn't just do that. You said, well, I want there to be 2 giraffes, an elephant, and a whale. And I don't want to see any ostriches next to monkeys. Okay? So you pick what you want and you pick what you don't want. Didn't you? You've made up what you want and you made up what you don't want. And you sat there and said, for me to enjoy my time on this unbelievable planet, spinning in the middle of nowheres, it has to be the way I made up. That's why you're not having fun. It's not that the things you made up aren't happening. That's not why you're not having fun. Of course they're not happening. Why would what you made up happen? Have you ever noticed it's not going to be the way you want? You want to know why? It's not supposed to be. It's not true that you get to just make up elephants and whales next to each other and no ostriches. That's irrelevant what you made up. It's irrelevant. This planet's been here for how long? 5 billion years. And everything on it went through an evolutionary process that took all this time to make it be the way it is. And you think you get to come down here on day 1 and just start making stuff up. You start making up all these things about the way you want them to be, and then getting upset when they're not that way. You do get upset when they're not the way you want, don't you? And you get tense, worrying that it might not be the way you want. And if it ever is not the way you want, you remember it and you feel resentment and you carry it with you. It's like a burden, right? In other words, you make a royal mess out of your life. That's what you chose to do while you're sitting on the planet, spinning in the middle of nowhere. A wise person doesn't do that. A wise person says, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I have this period of time between my birth and my death in order to experience what it's like to be on this little piece of dirt, spinning in the middle of empty space. Please pay attention to how small this piece of dirt is. It's like the sun. I forget the number, how many Earths would fit inside the sun. There's probably hundreds and thousands or something like that, right? Millions, who knows? The Earth's really small compared to the sun. We saw a neat picture. I wish you could all have it. There's a picture. Cassini just did a death dive. I'm sure you've been reading about it in the papers, right? Cassini was the spacecraft we sent to study Saturn. Well, one of the snapshots that Cassini took had Saturn at an angle. She was over here, took Saturn at an angle, and you could see the rings, coming at a given angle. That's really beautiful. The shadow was, it was just beautiful. But there was something much more beautiful. In between the furthest ring out there that you were looking at toward the edge, there was a dot. And I swear to God, it was the planet Earth. And it was a pixel. That's all it was, a pixel in the rings at a distance. You should look at that picture pretty often, because that's where you're on, that little dot, making a big mess of your entire life. Instead of sitting there saying, wow, this is pretty far out. And I try to tell you, there's one star, and all these planets are on that one star. In your galaxy, there are 300 billion stars. They now say there are over 2 trillion galaxies. And you're uptight about the scratch on your car, about who's talking to who. How did that happen? It doesn't even make sense, does it? Okay? I'm begging you to pay attention. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This is the truth, isn't it? This is the truth. We have photographs of it. It's not conjecture. It's not conceptual. It's the truth. And you're not living it, are you? And I'm challenging you to live the truth. You have the right to. If you live the truth, you won't have these problems. You'll wake up in the morning, and then you go and have fun. But don't I have responsibilities? Yeah, they're part of your fun. If you're sitting there playing a sport, it's fun, it's exciting, it's challenging. Of course you have to practice. Not have to. You get to. You get to because it's the fun you're having. You get to be better at it. You get to play your scales on a piano so that you can make music. These are not chores. Right? They're not things that you have to do. They're the fun things you're doing on the planet Earth. What is school? A fun thing you're doing on the planet Earth. You get to learn things. But if you go to school just to get a grade so you can get out and get a job, you wasted your life. If you wasted the experience of your life by putting it off, once I get married and I have my career and I have my job and I have the house of my dreams and I have this and I have that, then I can breathe. Then I know I succeeded. I know someone loved me enough to marry me. I know I was able to have children. And I know this, I know that. And, well, the kids, I got to make sure they get into Harvard. Okay, it'll take a little bit longer. It will never stop. All right? And so now it's just a mess. I don't know what to say. It's just a mess. Nobody's having fun. Everybody's uptight. Everybody's putting pressure on everybody else. Everybody's creating a situation where you can't even breathe. And so my basics to say is get with the program. The program is you're sitting on a planet in the middle of nowheres. Your life is yours. Let's get that straight. It does not belong to your parents. It doesn't belong to your husband. It belongs to your wife. Right? It doesn't belong to your children. You're in there. Hi. This is your life. If you are not careful, you will lose it. You will miss it. And you'll be laying on your deathbed saying, oh, where did it go? It flew by so fast. I don't feel like I've lived. You haven't. Right? You haven't lived. You have missed your life because you have not been living your life. You've been uptight. You've been neurotic. You've been worrying. You've been anxious. You've been desirous. You've been fearful. There, just described the human condition, haven't I? None of those things should be happening inside of you. There should be no fear. What if a lion's jumping at me? Then you have some fear. But don't have fear of a lion jumping at you when it's not. Because that fear will never end. If you're afraid of 60 things happening that aren't happening, you will be afraid all the time. You need to work with yourself. You need to honestly look at what's going on and work with yourself in order to make a healthier person, in order to make somebody who can enjoy their life. Because otherwise, by default, what will happen by default? You all know default. We have computers. We know what the default is, right? The default, if you can do anything about it, that's what the program is going to do that. You know what your default is? You're going to wake up in the morning, and you're going to have in your head, because you made it up, things that you want to happen, things you don't want to happen. And you're going to worry that the things you want to happen are not going to happen. And you're going to worry the things you don't want to happen are going to happen. So from the moment you wake up, it's going through your head. What did you do wrong yesterday? You should have said that, blah, blah. And so you wake up and that garbage is going on. Then you're going to start to do your day. But you're not doing the day. Your mind is saying what you want for breakfast. Well, there isn't any, right? Instead of going to say, what is there for breakfast? You decide first what you want for breakfast. And then you get all upset because it's not there, because it didn't come out the way you want. You're not living your life, you're living your mind. You're letting mind get ahead of life. How's that? It's sitting there deciding what it wants everything to be and what it doesn't want to be. And so now it decides, I don't want so-and-so to call. The phone rings. Oh, God. It could be anybody. But because you don't want so-and-so to call, you're freaking out. You don't want to answer the phone. All of a sudden you had a bad experience already. What? That the phone rang? That you got out of bed? That you had to brush your teeth? Yesterday you were sitting there talking to somebody. While you were talking, they took a step back. Now you're going to brush your teeth. Does my breath smell? Is this the right toothpaste? It's just your mind making up things that are ruining your life. Otherwise, you just enjoy brushing your teeth. It's fun. You should have fun with every single thing you do, every single second of your life. But by default, you can't. Why? Because you have stored inside of you, I'm going to do this very quickly, you have stored inside of you everything that ever happened that you didn't like. The worse it felt, the more you kept it inside, didn't you? You stored these bad experiences. That's what you made your inner self, the warehouse of your bad experiences. Go check psychology. They'll tell you that's what you did. Just every single thing that ever happened to you from the age of 2 or 1 that you didn't like is still in there. They took your blankie away. How you doing? I hate blue. Your blankie was blue. I love blue. Your blankie was blue. The point is you stored all this stuff inside of you, and now you're afraid of everything. You're afraid something will be taken away from you because your blankie was taken away. You're afraid the boyfriend will not be true to you because you saw a movie where somebody... Come on. All right? So now you have stored inside your psyche, inside your mental state, all these fears, all these anxieties, all these problems. And when you look out into the world, somehow it looks like they're happening. It looks like they might happen. And the next thing you know, you don't realize you're scared all the time. You're scared to go out with somebody. You're scared to not go out with somebody. You're scared to dress a certain way. So there are people who get dressed in the morning and change their outfit 3 times before they actually go out. Seriously, what are you doing? You're putting clothes on your body. No, I'm not. I'm trying to please so-and-so, but also please so-and-so and be appropriate for the class. And you just drive yourself crazy. So what spirituality, true spirituality says is, how can you sit on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowheres, doing this? Why don't you stop? Since you're doing it, nobody's making you do it. You did that. And so what spirituality, true spirituality says is, stop it. Create a nice environment for yourself to live in. You have to live in there. I don't want you living in there. It's a terrible place to live. I mean, every once in a while you enjoy something, okay? You know, oh boy, it's a great day. Well, I guess things went the way you wanted. I want you to have a good time all the time, not just the 1 in a million time that you win the lottery. It should basically be that every single, I'm challenging you, every single thing of every single moment of your life should be exciting, challenging, interesting, stimulating. But what if bad things happen? Yes, that's interesting too. What if somebody dies? You'll find out what it's like to be on the planet Earth when somebody close to you dies. You'll get to find out. It doesn't feel good. So what? Right? You play sports. Sometimes it doesn't feel good, does it? The other day I was looking at something we talked about. What do people go through training for the Olympics? That don't feel good just hearing about it. Well, for years they put themselves through hell, don't they? Day and night, they give up everything, and they just, oh my God, they push themselves, right? And what do they get? Here we're talking about doing the work that creates joy every moment of your entire life. You have to be willing to accept and honor and respect that there are different situations that will unfold in front of you in life. You do not get to choose them. Life is very big. It's like trying to go to watch the ocean and deciding how every wave should be. I don't think you'll enjoy watching the ocean. You'll get upset. You'll get angry. That's what you're doing with life. Life is an unfolding of events that's been going on for 13.8 billion years. That's when the Big Bang took place. And nobody asked you your opinion. It's unfolding in accordance to all the laws that you guys study in school. But you don't want that. You want to make up how you want it to be and get upset when it's not that way. No. This is what you have to change. You have to change your attitude about what it's like to live here. It is not true that Earth is a place you drop down on and become Hitler and just sit there and decide how everybody should be and everything should be and all the bugs should be and everything should be the way I want it to be, and I'm going to get really, really upset if it's not that way. Well, that's why you got neurotic. Earth is a place that you drop down. It's like a museum. It's a botanical garden and a zoo. It has all kinds of animals and all kinds of plants, all right? It's got lots of different kinds of people, doesn't it? Right? And some of them are nice. Some of them are really mean, despicable me type thing, all right? Well, that's exciting. You don't have to pay to get to meet the mean ones. They're just for free. They're for free. You should see them. They're really weird. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being honest, embracing the reality of life as it unfolds in front of you? We'll talk about how you do interact with it. But if you're interacting with it out of your fears and insecurities and neuroses, there's nothing good that's going to happen. And don't think it stops when you grow up. Some of you guys are young. Go check out with your parents to see if it stopped. Check out with your grandparents to see if it stopped. It doesn't stop. Unless you do something about it, you're going to be neurotic your entire life. You'll be complaining about everything. You'll have a tough time. They have a tough time. All right? It does not have to be like that. It's a day on the beach. That's what planet Earth is. It's a day on the beach. You have to pedal to make it spin? What did you do to make the sun come up today? You have 10 trillion cells within your body. What do you have to do to make them do what they're doing every day? Nothing. What are you doing to make your eyes be able to see? Nothing. It's all just being given to you for free, and you're making a complete mess out of it. So wisdom and spirituality says this. You have to decide that you're going to enjoy life, not that you're going to make up the life that you would enjoy and then get mad that it's not that way. Can I repeat that? Because that's what everybody's doing. You're making up a life that you think if it happened, you'd be happy, and then you're not happy. Why? It's not that way. That was a gross mistake, to make up a life that you think will make you happy. What you should do is be happy with life. That's the only way you're going to be happy. You're driving your car, somebody runs a light, hits you. Okay, find out what it's like in the planet Earth when you have an accident. Here come the police. Wow. Get that? It's like you're just going to have an exciting experience. That's all there is to it. And yes, some of them are difficult. But people do chess tournaments against chess masters. Those are difficult. The Olympics is difficult. Playing instruments can be difficult. But you enjoy it, don't you? You enjoy the challenge. Why don't you enjoy the challenge of life? When you go in to study math, well, some of you like math, some don't. I'll make believe you all love math, all right? So you go in to study calculus or to study some math stuff, right? Somebody said to you, have you ever taken calculus? No. Do you know what it is? No. What do you think it would be? Well, I think calculus is a lot like trig, except it has geometry in it. In other words, just make up some stuff, right? You tell me how good you're going to do in your calculus class. Not good at all. That's what you're doing with life. You're making up in your own head how everything should be today, tomorrow, and the day after, and for the next 30, 50 years. And then you're getting upset when it's not that way. So the easiest spirituality, the simplest approach to a spiritual life is to say, stop it. Now, we'll talk about how you can do that. Stop it. Wake up in the morning and be excited that you're still alive. Be happy that your eyes can still see. It's free of charge. Be happy you can smell, you can taste, you can touch. Be happy that there's food in the refrigerator. Hey, we went through a week with no electricity. Be happy there's electricity. It's kind of exciting, kind of neat. Learn to work with yourself to appreciate what life is like on this planet and go from moment to moment to moment to moment. That's mindfulness, be here now, focusing on what is being given to you, not what you want. You start with appreciation. And like I said, start by appreciating your body. I went through that for years. I work with myself. Do you know you have this thing called the liver? Check out what it does. Check out what would happen to you if it didn't do it. When's the last time you said thank you? There's not a single thing, person, place, or thing in your life that gives you as much as your liver or your heart, not to mention your spleen or your pancreas. You don't even thank it. You don't even think about it. You take it completely for granted. What if a kid was like that? They just took everything for granted. All the presents you gave them, never said thank you, never did anything. That wouldn't be a very nice experience, would it? Why don't you come down to earth, get out of your head, take a look around, and see how much is being given to you every single moment? The sun, the rain, the body, people, your mind. Oh my God, your mind's brilliant. You can actually understand what other people are saying. You're worried about what they're saying. I'm blown away that I can understand what they're saying. So if somebody comes to me and says, God, you're ugly. I never met anybody ugly like that. I know what they meant. It's unbelievable. I understood them. I'm brilliant. Right? Do you know that human beings are so brilliant that they figured out how to make their vocal cords make noises, and the other person knows what the noises mean? That's far out, right? Not like just like monkeys. No, it's like noises, right? Like entire dissertations they can write and give, and you can hear what they mean, can't you? Why don't you appreciate that? Why don't you get blown away by that? I told you there's so many things you can do. When you get in your car, I've given you this lecture before. When you get in your car, have you noticed that you're capable of getting the key in the keyhole? Do you compliment yourself? Other animals couldn't do it. Give it to an armadillo. Let's see an armadillo get that key in the keyhole. Right? You got to train a monkey for a long time to get that key in that keyhole. You understand that? You just go boom, you throw that thing in there. All right? Feel good about what's happening. We have some fun. I challenge you. I told you this once before. Let's say you get into your car, you turn it, it goes. How you feel? You feel terrible. You've ruined your day. The car didn't start. You got to deal with those stuff, right? Okay. Next time you get in the car, do you feel good? Do you have an equal amount of good feeling about the fact that it started as you do when it didn't start? Not a chance in the world. You are so tended toward the negative, and then you're wondering why life seems so tough. Because everything that goes right, your body, your liver, your pancreas, the food in the refrigerator, the sun, every single thing that goes right, you don't even pay attention to it. It doesn't matter. If one thing goes different for 1 minute, you freak out. That's like people say to me sometimes, they say, why is the mind so negative? You made it that way. Let's say you got a new car. You parked on the parking lot. You come out, and there's a scratch on the side. Do you know how much of your paint isn't scratched? What are you doing getting uptight about the tiny little bit that got scratched? Like 99.9% of the car is not scratched. You think it's funny? I'm telling you, you got to change the way you think. You have to work with yourself because your tendency, the default, is to get negative. The tendency is to sit there and say, I'm scared. If anything goes wrong, I'm scared. So I'm looking for things that go wrong. I'm worried that things are going to go wrong. So I'm basically a scared person. I'm scared to park my car. I'm scared to see what the weather's going to be like. I'm scared to put clothes on. I'm scared to say anything. Somebody might understand what I meant. I used to watch him, all right? I trained him. He doesn't do it anymore, right? He'd have a conversation with somebody, a professor, a friend, anything, right? He'd walk away. The conversation's over. No, the conversation's not over. You shouldn't have said that. Oh my God, you were doing good till you said that. It was impressive. You forgot to say this. Oh, that would have been so good. Anybody else got a little crazy person in there like that? Isn't that fun? No, that's not fun. There's a word for it, neurotic. You had a conversation, it's over. Now there's a new event happening in your life. No, there's not. Do you know there are times in your life that an event took place, and for the next 3 days, 5 days, some people a year, that's about the only event that ever happened to you. You got that thing playing over in your head over and over again. It's bothering you so much, you can't enjoy your life. Has that ever happened to you? Some events screwed you up good? Okay. The events last as long as they last. There's an event happening. It's going in through your senses. You're experiencing it. Why are you carrying it with you into the next moment? Because it bothered me. Well, you better work with that. I'm telling you, there is nothing that can happen on the planet Earth that should screw you up. Doesn't mean you don't work with it. We'll talk about that. That's where I'm going to go in a minute. What do I do while I'm here? The first thing I want to talk about is what you don't do. You don't sit there and make it a negative experience. If you sit there and get all uptight and be neurotic and worry about everything, you are not going to enjoy your life. Start at home. You have an obligation to yourself and everybody around you to be happy, to enjoy the journey of your life. It is going to be over soon, and I don't care how young you are, it is going to be over soon. In the realm of the 13.8 billion years that it's been going on, yours is not even a drop in the bucket. It is nothing. And you have an obligation to be appreciative, to have gratitude, to feel good about the fact that you were blessed by ending up on the nicest planet we found. Maybe we'll find one somewhere, I don't know. But so far we found a lot of planets. We've sent explorers out there. We've done all kinds of things, and no one came up with anything that's worth going to. Nothing else we have found is worth going to spend any time there. Yet here it is unbelievable everywhere for everybody. There is no sense of appreciation. There is no time for gratitude. There's just constant complaining because it's not the way I made up I wanted it to be. You have everything in the world, but your girlfriend left you. Fine, I understand. There's some pain involved when your girlfriend or boyfriend left you. It is not supposed to ruin your life. Your cells are still doing what they're supposed to be doing. The sun is still coming up. The birds are still singing. 99.99999999999% of every single thing is just fine. But you want to ruin it all because you couldn't handle something. And that was, I gave you a traumatic one that your boyfriend left you. What about you got a little pimple on your cheek for the senior prom or something? That's it. I'm never going to another dance. I'm never doing anything. It's like, I hope I'm challenging you to sit there and say, you don't want to be like that. There's nobody making you be like that. This is one arena where you're on your own. You're free in there. Nobody else is in there, are they? You in there? Anybody else in there with you? Nope. And there never will be. That's your domain. Why don't you work with it? Why don't you listen and sit there and say, if I'm going to be on this planet, spinning in the middle of nowheres, and I'm going to be here for a few years, I am going to enjoy my life. I don't need things to be a certain way for me to enjoy my life. I need to enjoy my life. You don't set the priority that certain things have to happen. No, you have to sit there and say, I am making decisions in my life, important decisions, because I'm living my life and enjoying the entire experience. Don't think that one particular thing is going to make you happy and something else is not, because you're wrong. Why do you think 50% of all marriage in the United States of America end in divorce? Do you think they planned it to begin with? Like, we'll get married for a few years and we'll get a divorce. No, because people don't know what they want. People don't know what will make them happy, do they? So what will make you happy is if you decide to live a life that embraces reality, that feels, I started with a lot of it's got to do with appreciation. Stop taking it all for granted. This planet's amazing. Appreciate it. I'm not just talking about environmentally. It's amazing. It's amazing. All the life on it and oh my God, how it's made so that the electromagnetic field, right, keeps the solar flares out and we don't get all burned up with the radiation. It's an amazing thing. And like I said, your body, just to focus on your body. Some of you guys are going to study medicine. If you study medicine, will you please start to appreciate what you were given? Like a little bacteria gets in there and all of a sudden the thing goes to war. Doesn't it? It starts making these white blood cells. The whole immune system gets active. It goes down, and you don't even know what's going on. Do you know why your temperature goes up? Because your body's trying to kill the bacteria because it can't handle the temperature. The cells can handle more temperature than what the bacteria can. So it raises the temperature. Really? Did you know that? That's why it does that. Okay? It is not, at some point, temperature's not good, but for normal ranges that your immune system deals with, that it's doing this for you. You should be saying thank you. Thank you. You're an amazing system. Oh, my God. And so you do this with your body. You do this with the nature around you, the sun, the fact that the sun comes up and the moon goes through its phases and that there are all these stars in the sky and that the sun is close enough to keep you warm. A star, no sun. Don't call it a sun. Call it a star. There's a star close enough to keep you warm and that your car starts and that you have a school to go to and that your brain actually works. What if somebody sat there and said to you, what's 2 + 2? And what it sounded like was, oh, doesn't sound like that, does it? Right? You actually know what they said. Well, say thank you. What if somebody comes up and you remember their name? Wow, where'd that come from? You didn't do it, did you? It's a gift, right? You get all upset when you don't remember their name, but you don't give any credit at all if you do remember the name. Stop it. Your tendency toward the negative is ridiculous, isn't it? And that's why it's so negative. That's why life is so difficult. Life is not difficult. Life is a complete gift that's being given to you and you don't even have to pedal, right? It doesn't cost $1. It's just being given to you. But you miss it and you focus on the negative. Work with yourself. It's a private thing you do within yourself to train yourself to look at the glory, the beauty, the appreciation of every single thing that's given to you. In a relationship, don't get into a relationship and worry about it ending, worry about getting hurt. But there you are, negative. Get into a relationship and say, I get to meet somebody. There's 7 billion people on the planet Earth. I don't get to meet many of them. How about you? Now I get to actually know somebody. Let me just talk for a moment about a relationship. A lot of you guys are young, right? Relationships are so easy. They're so easy. You make them so difficult. It's ridiculous. Here's what you call a relationship. I'm not okay. I feel lonely. I feel left out. I don't feel anybody can really love me. And there's a certain kind of person who I would like to like me. And they had certain characteristics, like about 80 of them. And I've been making them up since I was 5, by the way. Every movie I watch, every single thing, it all left these impressions on me. So I'm very open for a relationship as long as blah, 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 blah. Okay? And you tell your friends they agree with you, all right? So it's all like that, okay? Now, all of a sudden, somebody shows up, and somebody says, oh, maybe that person looks a lot like the one you've been describing since you were 3. They're not, I assure you, okay? But net result is you now go and you start dating or doing something. And what you're doing in your little dating trial period is checking off the check boxes. Does he serve his soup? Is he vegetarian? Does he do this? What kind of car does he drive? All the way down the list. Then he or she passes enough of this test to where we get a little more serious. And then all of a sudden you're watching very carefully. Is this the kind of person you're really serious about? Every little thing they do, you're watching everything. In other words, you're not trying to get to know that person. You're trying to see if that person matches the one you made up in your head. And what is the probability that person is going to match the one you made up in your head? 0. Well, what do you do with the parts that don't match? Well, you have a choice. Either you say, I'm not interested in this, not working out for me. Or you sit there and say, look, nothing's perfect. I can tolerate this because he has this. And you start playing this game inside your head of a scorecard, and it's ridiculous. You're not getting to know that person. You're judging that person against your preferences, against what you think you want, against what you think you need. Nobody will ever match that, and I want to tell you a secret. If they did, it wouldn't satisfy you, because you have no idea what's going to turn you on. It's usually the thing that comes out of left field and surprises you. Oh, oh my God, it just swept me off my feet. It's not going to sweep you off your feet if you're looking for something. And so basically we're playing a very stupid game. A true relationship is as follows. I have some time. There's somebody. Get to know him. Get to know her. Oh God, you're totally different than I thought you would be. That's really neat, right? Well, that's all. Have fun. Have fun. Get to meet somebody. If you actually live with somebody, right? There's 7 billion people on the planet Earth. At least get to know the one you're living with. No, you're judging them against what you made up. And the moment they're not turning you on or doing what you want to end the relationship. Instead, you should sit there and look at yourself and say, what's wrong with me? Why am I not interested in everybody? Why is everybody not exciting? Why is every single situation not a challenging situation that I learned from, that's exciting, it's different than what I thought? Why am I doing this? And you will realize you're ruining your life with all that stuff. And I made it very clear. You've made up a life inside your head. You made up a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a this, a that, every single thing you made up in your head. And now you're judging the unfolding of life against that. It's not going to work. So what a wise person does is they don't do that. As much as possible, they bring the presence of their consciousness onto the moment that's taking place. You can't ever be wrong by embracing the moment that's taking place. It's reality. That's what's happening. If you're not enjoying the moment, find out why. If you're taking a class and you don't like it, that's not the reason to change the class. It's the reason to find out why you don't like it. Change yourself. What if you could like every class? You are so inspired that from the moment you wake up in the morning, you can't wait to do your homework assignments. You can't wait to read and learn what you're going to learn. You can't wait to see if you can write that paper properly. You have to hold yourself back because you got these other stupid things you have to do, like eating and things like that. You're inspired for every single class you take from now on. How would you like to go to school like that? Wouldn't that be neat? You go into the class, these top professors in their fields tell you what they know. And you get to sit there and listen. It's like, imagine if you actually enjoyed the experience of going to school, going to college. Wouldn't that be a lot more fun? Why not do it? And don't say, because I don't feel that way. Then there's something wrong. When you're sick, let's say your arm hurt. You couldn't pick your hand up, right? Why can't you drive now? Well, my hand hurts. What are you doing about it? Nothing. I told you, my hand hurts. I can't drive. No, you would go to a doctor. You would do something to fix what's wrong. What's wrong with you that you're not enjoying your life? That's what I'm challenging you with. So you start to see, what am I doing inside myself that is making it so I'm not inspired by what I'm doing? That is making it so I'm not turned on by everything and everybody. I want you to turn on by everything and everybody till you can't even hold yourself together. It's like, whoa. You're like, whoa. And I'm serious. You can do that, right? If you will listen and play with the things I'm talking about. I'm telling you, that silly thing I said about the key in the car, try it. Try getting in the car. First, compliment yourself that you managed to get in. It's not easy. The other day, I let somebody borrow my car. They moved the seat all the way up, all right? I went to get in, and I bashed my head against the windowsill, all right? Because the seat was all the way up. Nowadays, when I get in my car, I'm very proud that I didn't bash my head, all right? So it's like a fun experience to not bash your head, right? Do that. And for now, when the key gets in the whole giggle, when the car starts, be happy that it started. It did you a favor. Say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't just complain about the things that are wrong. Be positive about the things that are right, and you're going to find out that it's 99.9999% of the things work, don't they? So it doesn't take time. It takes this mindfulness that you work with yourself to raise yourself. I like that you're laughing, but it's really not that funny. Is it not true that we tend toward the negative? I know we don't want to think of ourselves as negative, but we are. If the car doesn't start, we get all upset, and then we tell everybody about it, and we complain for a week, and then we don't ever trust it again. I need to make an appointment. What if my car doesn't start? The car started thousands and thousands and thousands of times. You didn't do anything to make it positive. Nothing. But the one time it didn't start, it ruined your life. That is called being negative. And that's true of everything we do that. So you need to change that. Otherwise, your life is going to be heavy. Life is not heavy. It's easy. So basically, you start working with yourself I'm leaving, I'm just talking extemporaneously, but I'm leaving with a couple of positive techniques, which is, will you please bother to say thank you to things that work out? Will you please bother to say thank you to your body? Will you please bother to be excited that you woke up in the morning? You could have died. It could have been the end, but you wake up and you're in the same room and your dress is still there. Who said it's going to be like that? All right, I'm going to slow down here. How many of you understand the quantum field? That there's this field of energy way down there below the atoms and subatomic stuff. And out of this field, energy means it has no form, right? It's a quantum field, just a formless field of energy. Out of that field are popping these particles. They come and they go. Subatomic particles, quarks, leptons, bosons, heard about them. They pop out. Do you understand that's what your room is made out of? When you wake up in the morning and look around at the ceiling and the room and the walls, it is those quarks, leptons, and bosons popping out of the quantum field, joining together based on the 4 fundamental laws: gravity, electromagnetism, strong nuclear, weak nuclear. Come on, you've all studied it. Don't just study it. Pay attention. That's what's happening. So what is the probability your room is still there in the morning? I mean, you remember the uncertainty principle? Well, that's pretty uncertain, right? How in the world can it be that those things pop out of that field? They don't stay there and pop, 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 all happening in this, and then put themselves together every moment to make your room be there in the morning when you wake up. You didn't do it. Did you say thank you? Are you excited? Is it far out that you live in a universe that's doing that? I mean, Einstein himself said it's not even there. It's just energy. Energy is matter, matter is energy, and the difference is a temporary state. You've heard that sentence, haven't you? There's nothing there. It's just an illusion. It's just hilarious. And you're getting uptight about it instead of appreciating it. So I'm going to say the main theme of this discussion is appreciation. Don't say, yeah, but I'm not. No, you don't know how to play the piano when you start. You didn't know how to do calculus before you took it. You don't know how to play tennis. You need to train yourself. You need to learn. This is the highest thing you could ever learn. Bring consciousness to bear. I used to do this back in the 70s when I first started. Every single time I got in a car, before I started the car, I would stop. Just for a moment. People wouldn't even realize I was doing it. If I had somebody else in the car, I would stop for a moment and remember I was on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowhere, and I was about to drive a car around the planet. And I would do the same thing before I got out of the car. I'd turn the car off, I'd sit for a second, and I'd remember. You get to remember there's quarks. I didn't know about quarks and leptons then, that there's quarks and leptons popping out of an energy field, making your car, all right? And you drive from a place that's still there. I don't know. Do whatever you want. This is called using your intellectual higher mind, we call it the impersonal mind, the analytical mind, to overshadow that stupid personal mind that you made up all this garbage that you want. Have fun. Have fun. And create an environment for yourself where you're enjoying your life. Don't expect somebody else to show up and make it that way. Don't expect your job to do it. Don't expect the outside world to somehow magically come in and turn you on. It's very rare that it does that. And when it does, you make a mess out of it because you run after it, you grab it, you cling to it. If Mr. Right showed up, you're in big trouble. You get possessive, you get jealous. The more right he or she is, the more possessive and jealous you are about when they talk to somebody else. And all of a sudden, you make a mess out of everything. If instead you will sit there and say, it is my responsibility, mine, the joy, the happiness, the enthusiasm, the love of life. That's my responsibility, to have that within myself. I can share it with others, but for me to find that within myself, how can you expect someone else to show up that's going to overshadow all the negative stuff you're doing inside yourself? Oh, he'll solve that. No, he won't. He's got his own problems. You have to own it. And so I've taught you these ways of raising yourself. There's so many ways. Don't let yourself be negative. That doesn't mean suppress your negativity. It means think higher than that. If you're all of a sudden, a roach runs across the floor in your apartment. Your mind goes, oh, there's roaches. No, come back up off the planet Earth, into the middle of interstellar empty space, and you've been there for 10 years, there's nothing, and a roach runs by. Wow, there's a roach. I was like, my best friend. I was like, play. You hear me? Play. Have fun. Raise yourself with yourself. And you're going to find out that everything you do raises your energy. It raises it. And the more you do it, the more it raises you. And you have the right to do it because where I started, I'm going to end. You're sitting on a planet, spinning in the middle of absolutely nowhere. If you haven't ever looked at it, there's a picture on that wall when you walk in that door, the opposite wall. It's an 8 by 10, and it's all black. It just looks like a black negative picture, right? If you look carefully, there's this tiny little white dot. That is literally a photograph of the planet Earth, taken by Cassini from 2 million miles out. She turned around on her way to Saturn and took a picture of the Earth. And if you look to the right, way further than I would have thought, about that much distance, there's a single pixel, that's the moon. But that has the Earth and the moon. Take a look, and every single thing that ever happened to you and ever will happen to you happened to that little stupid little dot spinning around that little planet. How can you be having a hard time? How can you not be enjoying your life? So you wake up in the morning, you remind yourself of this. You go in the noontime, you stop for a minute. Oh, here I am, still on the planet. Don't let what happened to you get you all weird. Enjoy it. And eventually, you're going to be what we call perpetually present, established in the seat of self. You will always, this talk I gave you, it's nice to listen to talk like this, will be going on inside your head. You'll maintain that consciousness all the time. No matter what's happening, you're here, aware that you're on a planet still in the middle of nowheres, and somebody's yelling at you. And you understand what they mean. But you sit there and say, wow, far out. That's really interesting. Why do you have trouble with the things that are happening? You're causing this trouble for yourself. Just learn to enjoy your life. And I want you to even enjoy, this is how I know you got there. Sure, if there's somebody, let's say you're walking with a friend, you see somebody over there, say, oh, there's Sally. She really loves me a lot. She always speaks so highly of me. She's my best friend. It's really, right? That's nice. What I want, there's Fred. He hates my guts. Every single person he sees, he just absolutely disses me all the time. He's so, don't say anything. I just love to look at him. Now you're getting somewhere. Why not? You're on a planet spinning in the middle of nowhere. So somebody loves you, somebody hates you. Isn't that fun? Isn't that exciting? When you can do this with everything, you will reach a state where so much joy and energy and love is welling up inside of you that the only thing you have left to do with your life is share it. You don't have to look for anything. You don't have to get anything. You don't need anything. Nobody can disappoint you. Nobody can do anything. You're whole within yourself. It's called liberation. You're a free being. You're a liberated soul. That's what I want for you. And I know you can do it. What's stopping you? You. That's kind of neat when it's only you stopping you, isn't it? Right? There's no competition. So basically, this is what it means to live a whole, full life on the planet Earth. You're blessed to be here. It's an amazing thing that's going on. Pay attention and be appreciative. Say thank you. And you don't have to get rid of your negativity. Rise above it. It will go away by itself. Otherwise, you'll suppress it. I don't want you suppressing anything. Just keep raising yourself, and what will happen is you'll see that all these other things will fall off. Work with these things. Jagrata.